Hey, Spectrum or Demon Alliance, it's me, Spectrum Cesar. In this video, I am turning mythological creatures into heroes for my Beast Heroes universe. The order I did them in is actually Cerberus, then I did Hydra, then I did Chimera, which is a female. I used a new body type the last female body type I did. I really like this design. And the last one was actually, was a Drake. So, yeah. Now let's roll intro and let's get into this video. Let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Okay, sorry for being gone for so long. I am the person that's been going over the heroes of this universe, but my voice has actually changed. I'm actually going over some heroes that are actually from just regular old mythological creatures. I've gotten 4 that I've found that are really interesting. The first one is Burrus Senior, and here name is Cerberus. This guy has the ability to turn into the 3-headed dog Cerberus, but at most he usually just sticks to having his front arms turn to paws and his feet turn to dog paws as well. And on both his feet and his hands paw, he has sharp claws coming out from both of them. The ones on his hands are actually sharper because, well, that's what he uses for hand-to-hand combat. He doesn't really use any other long-range weapons or any long-range tactics. The few times he does, he mostly throws like a rock at them using supernatural strength that comes from his human, that is when he's in his human form. He wears a mask to protect his identity because in reality he's quite bullied quite often because of his dark hair and sometimes fur popping up. People call him a mutt and a freak, but he's actually started to learn how to control this. But he still keeps this up at school so people don't see that, wait a minute, this guy acts a lot very similarly to Cerberus, and they will start just wanting to be his friend because he's super famous for being a hero that's being able to capture a lot of villains relatively easily, and his raw power. He also doesn't want to be called a monster for being a creature. He is able to turn to, like I already stated, into the full 3-headed dog Cerberus, but also from time to time he does sprout a snake on his shoulder, which will actually help him detect if anyone's nearby or not. This is actually a very helpful technique. He's actually learned to master it over the years, and the snake itself can actually depend on breeds that are nearby to him. Like if he's near a zoo that actually has a pretty venomous snake in it, he would actually summon that same snake on his shoulder, but actually lessen the venom toxicity, but make it to where it only paralyzes the person for a short while. And then there's a few other times that he can sense something like a rattlesnake nearby. He's been to Texas a few times, and since Texas diamondback rattlesnakes are quite common, he actually uses them as his primary attack snake. Matter of fact, keeps one as a pet, so he knows how to deal with them because of his heroing business. He mostly does his business at night. And let's get to the next one. Now, this next one actually took me a while to figure out his real name, because he mostly went by his hero name. Even his own personality was by his original name. His hero name, well, I mean, his personality is inflicted by his hero name. His hero name is Hydra. It took me a while, but I finally, after digging through his ancestry line, he found his real name, Henry Drya. Drya is actually a rare type of human. A human that was actually taken from birth from another world and then transported into this world and adopted into a family. This family was actually a very rich family. The reason why it took me so long to figure out this guy's real name is because he wasn't really from this world. Matter of fact, he was actually from the Beastverse. And I just so happened to be good friends, acquaintances with the overseer of that world. It was quite difficult to get this information, but I managed to get this so far. The information I have on him is that one of his parents was a Hydra, don't know what species yet, and another was a regular human, and the Hydra was in its human form. Very old Hydras have the ability, like most dragons, to shapeshift. This gave birth to him, but he was different, so he was taken from the former overseer of this world. He was pretty greedy, wanted very powerful people in his world, so that he can just watch wars and fights and things like that happen all the time. But since I took over, I managed to defeat him in a duel. I was actually once a very powerful hero that learned of what the overseer was, what kind of overseer he was. I defeated him in a simple match I simply outsmarted him. I'm not really a brawler, but I'm relatively strong, but I'm relatively smarter than I usually am. This guy has small wings on each arm. One arm is like wings, has one wing-like piece. This allows him to slowly float down to the ground, and both his arms actually have eyes on them, which allow him to see if someone's coming from an area behind him. And these actually, his up to his elbow or so is actually coated in scales. He has the ability to turn this off, but since he's stuck in that form, he goes in this form so long, it's pretty much stuck to him. He wears a mask, like I'm talking goggles, and a full-on mask that goes up to his eye area, and you can't even see his forehead much because of his hair that's red. The rest of his armor, his chest piece and pants, are actually golden color. He has 2 shoes which are also red color, or relatively dark red, and he has 2 claws, one on the front, one on the back. Not to mention he's also a very fast hero, so yeah. And those right there are just made to help him slow down. So yeah, let's get to the next one. The next hero I'm looking at is a hero known as Kaya Arik. Her name, Chimeric. Chimeric is how I pronounce it. She has the ability to copy any hero's abilities, or better yet, any animal creature's abilities. She can also copy, how do you put this, some creatures that are from different worlds. Pretty much any creature she knows of or is in this world, she can copy. She is here. She personally enjoys copying one of Hydra's arms just to take them off. They are actually together, and she's actually one of the few people that he is able to let loose around and be his regular self, who's actually quite dashing and charming, to be honest. By together I mean like they're a couple. They're boyfriend and girlfriend actually. But she has actually more control over her abilities. in her hero costume, it's really just shorts and a t-shirt that is able to be tucked in using a little belt. And what she really likes, and her shorts actually have a little hole that she's actually able to make tails through. She doesn't really change her head much, except for when she is making something that's a hard head, like an armadillo skull. She can also morph her skeleton and also make it stronger. So, yeah. She can also, like I was saying, she really likes to tease her boyfriend by copying his Hydra arm. And that's the ability she has. By touching him, she has more control over it because of, well, don't really know how that works, to be honest. But, the abilities and traits are a lot better when she touches the creature. But if she uses the abilities so often, she actually gets better, becomes even better than the actual creature. Which is how she was able to use one of her personal favorite body parts, Roadrunner legs. They're actually upscaled to be the size of her legs. But since they're Roadrunner legs, it actually allows her to change her bones to be hollow. But she also makes them pretty strong. But I'm talking like dense. Not really dense, but like strong dense, and also be pretty light somehow. Still trying to figure out how that worked. And she's able to run pretty fast. First down 55 miles an hour. That's about twice as fast as your average road runner in this world. She also prefers to make scorpion tails and make them full of paralysis poison. And really just stuff like that. And she wears a good mouth guard, usually because of how fast she can run. And her skin is actually just regular human skin, but just a whole lot tougher. Okay, this last hero I'm going over is another draconic hero, which is one of the two I was talking about, is known as Draco. That is is spelled Drako, because there's already another hero named Draco, and he wanted to use some part of his real name and last name. So he decided to take the O from Draconic, from his real name, and put that at the end of Drake, to make Draco. And his real name is actually Drake Draconic. So, yeah. His hero suit is pretty similar to Kaya Aric's hero suit, just being a shirt that's tucked into a and for that, these shirts are very high durability, and every single one of these hero skin is, even the regular skin, is really high durability in of itself. And the pants are too. He wears shorts a lot. He prefers running, and he's actually a marathon runner in his free time. He usually goes by Dre as a cover name because everyone knows his real name. They don't know what he looks like underneath his mask. So, yeah. He does wear a mask, but it only covers his face. That's pretty much it. And his claws are razor sharp. He has one up. He has 5 on his upper hands, so that he uses to slice through enemy armor, and for hand-to-hand combat. He's physically really strong, but most of his strength goes into his legs. He's known as the speeding draconic hero, for the record. It's not his real title at all, but people just call him that. And he lives up to the name quite often. He's known to take down enemies within about 5 minutes of fighting. That's for a mid-rank opponent. Low rank is like a minute at most. Higher rank and the most difficult ones he's able to face at the moment are actually around 10 minutes long. But trust me, that's pretty fast. The longest one I think about that was recorded is actually around an hour long, and he was beaten pretty severely after that. And the only reason why he was able to take him out was because the villain started to do a villain cliche and start monologuing about how strong he was and how fast he was. And then he used the last burst of speed to boost around him, boost up in front of him, knee him in the balls, lift up his head, and toss him into a building, which kneeing the guy in the balls really hurt him, and throw him to the building, knocked him unconscious. So, yeah, all heroes can fight pretty dirty if they want to. And they're not supposed to be cold, but that guy kind of deserved it, to be honest. I think we were watching that video part right there. So yeah, that's every hero I'm going over for today. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, because that's all the time I got for today. Until next time, subscribe to Adrian's Spike Storming or Demon Alliance. Goodbye, and peace out, everyone.